How do I move past the distress of knowing that my mom watches pornography?
What? What?
Yeah.
What? How old are you?
I'm 21.
How old's your mom?
She is 47, 48. Yeah.
Okay, so she's young.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I'm so sorry. She's like, I'm thinking of someone else. Sorry. She is in her 50s. She is in her like mid 50s. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you find out? Is she just like chilling at the dinner table being like, yo, you got to check out Pornhub. It's so great. How'd you find out?
So a few years ago when I was in high school, my brother was being curious and was on her phone, and, you know, kids are snoopy. So he was on her phone looking at her tabs, and he saw Pornhub on there. And
oh, no kidding.
Yeah. And he was like, oh my gosh. And he looked at me and he goes, Mom is watching pornography. And I was like, oh my gosh. Okay. And so my sister.
Hey, by the way, hold on. If you watch this, I'm laughing right now. I'm not laughing that adult women watch pornography. I'm just laughing at two kids sitting around finding mom's phone and just being like, dude, mom watches porn. Like, that just seems like out of, you know what I mean? That's like, I don't hear that very often. Even like finding dad. It's like, ooh, dad looks at porn. Like, ooh. Most people don't have a psychology for it. Oh, dude, mom. Oh, mom doesn't even clear her history on her own phone. Like, oh no, right?
Right. Yeah, it was pretty weird. And so, like, I would ask my sister over the course of a few months because it bothered me so bad. I could not stop thinking about it. Whenever I was around her, that's all I could think about. And I would ask over the course of a couple years. I told nobody because it just felt really taboo and very embarrassing on her part too, and on my family's side. So like I would ask my sister, I'd be like, hey, like, does this like bother you in any way? And she goes, I try not to think about it. And I'm like, it bothers me really bad. And so going into my summer of my junior year of college, I told my dad, I was like, I have to tell my dad. I can't, like, he needs to know this. Are they still married? Yeah. Yep. They're still married.
Okay.
So I had to tell my dad. I was like, Dad, I sat down with him. It was just me and him in the living room. I said, Mom is watching pornography. And we found it a year or two ago on her phone. And he was like, oh, and he got very defensive. And he said, oh, well, you know, you have your own problems. Have you ever watched it? And in high school, I struggled with it.
Okay.
Like pretty bad. I don't anymore. It's been years. So I was like, well, yeah, in high school I did. And he goes, well, you have nothing, like, don't worry about it. Like, you have your own problems too. And it was weird because that was like from my past. And
that was a lame move. That was a lame move.
Yeah.
So, by the way, so I'm laughing here. I'm not anymore, but I was laughing earlier. There's another layer to this, which is this is something you personally struggled with also as a kid. And when you're a kid struggling with pornography, you had that extra layer of feeling dirty and shameful, right?
Right.
Like, can you just bathe in secrets and especially if you're a young woman, I hear this a lot. Like, if you're a young woman, it's supposed to be something that boys wrestle with.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's an extra layer of, oh, something's wrong with me, right? And so you've wrestled with this, and then to find on your mom's phone is a trip, and then have your dad throw your childhood back in your face is gross, dude. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, my dad is a whole another
I imagine so. So bring me to now. So you went to a safe person. The safe person blew it back at you.
Yeah. Well, can I talk about one more thing before?
Go for it.
We go into that, because it's actually really important. So I did actually talk to my mom about it.
Okay.
We did have a conversation. I told her, I said, Mom, I know that you were watching pornography. And at the time, I had done research on pornography and the effects of it and how bad it is. And she was like, oh, I'm very sorry. There's always that one thing that you go back to. And then after that, we just hadn't really talked about it. And like right now, I feel like I just...
How long ago was that?
That was probably maybe a little over a year, almost 2 years now.
Do you still live at home?
No, I am married. I live with my husband.
So let's move mom to the side for a second. Why is this still, why is this rooted itself in your soul so bad?
I think it's because sometimes when me and my husband are intimate, like my body is reacting to him. And then I'll get this intrusive thought of my mom and like disturbing images. Okay. And at the same time, my body is reacting to my husband.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I'm like just in my daily life, that's all I think about sometimes. And it can go on for hours and it makes me feel very disturbed.
Yeah. Do you ruminate over other things too?
I actually do have OCD.
I was going to say, yeah. So here's what that tells me. You've painted a pretty good picture of the house you grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that a dad would ever, you know what? I'm not even going to talk about him. Your body's been on alert since you were a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
Fair?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Okay.
That is very fair.
So, especially when OCD manifests itself outside of physical behaviors and it's into looping thoughts, you feel like you're losing control of your mind. Like it makes you feel insane, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm having great sex with my new husband and I just pictured my mother, right? I mean, you feel nuts, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, listen to me. You're not crazy.
Yeah.
Okay? I want you to let that, I'll say it even more direct. There is nothing wrong with you. Okay?
Okay.
You're not somehow like some sort of twisted, there's nothing. Your body's trying to keep you safe. Do you have any sort of abuse? Did you experience abuse growing up at all?
So the funny thing about this is I didn't know that I was abused until I started talking to my husband about it because he grew up in a very healthy household. I mean, every household has their issues. We've talked about stuff with his family that we don't agree with, but there was my dad. Everyone throws around the term narcissist like it's candy nowadays. But my dad is actually the textbook definition of a narcissist.
Tell me about what happened.
Yeah. So growing up, he was very short-tempered. He has his own, the reason why he's like this is because
Hannah, tell me what happened.
Yeah. So
hold on. Take a deep breath. Deep breath.
Okay.
Your chest is tightening up on you. I can feel it through the phone.
Yeah, you're right.
Exhale.
Okay.
If you don't want to talk about it, that's okay. You don't have to.
Yeah, I think I'm okay to talk about it.
Okay. Let me say this. If you tell me something that I have to report, I'm going to report it.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And my team here will call the police if it needs to be called on your dad.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of it was just verbal, like, oh, you're terrible, awful children. And then when you hear that, it kind of, I've done a lot of healing through it. I guess I don't necessarily feel comfortable going into
okay, that's good.
A lot of detail, but
That's good.
I didn't recognize. Yeah.
Here's what I want you to put your hand. I want you to take an open hand, and I want you to put it right on the top of your chest, right below your neck. Okay.
Okay.
And press there pretty hard. And then I want you to relax your arm.
Okay.
For some reason, vulnerability, being naked, being seen, your body has put a GPS pin in that is not safe.
Mm-hmm.
That letting your husband and you, letting you be fully seen and experienced is not safe.
Yeah.
And it will try to shut your body down. It will try to shut everything down. And if it can't shut your body down, it will shut your mind down. It will spin it up like a fishing reel that someone takes their thumb off of and it just turns into a big bird's nest, right?
Yeah.
It's just your body trying to keep you safe because it's been to hell. It lived there for a long time.
Yeah.
And the guardian of your hellscape was named Dad.
Yeah.
And by the way, damn it, Mom was supposed to protect you and she didn't.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Exhale in that. Okay? So intrusive thoughts like lightning bolts, my goodness, they're the worst.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. With OCD, I actually, in that area of my life, I didn't know what OCD was. YouTube helped me figure it out because I had, they call it pure O, and it's terrible. It's all in your head. It's all obsessive. It's more.
Have you been to see a doctor?
I was visiting with a therapist during my college years, but she wasn't really qualified to talk about OCD, if that makes sense. She didn't really help me much.
Okay, so I want you to listen to me super careful. Here's why I know so much about it. It's exactly what I have, diagnostically and everything. Okay. I have little tics like counting locks and checking my doors at night a bunch of times and stuff like that that are just whatever.
Yeah.
But the main thing that haunted me for years was the looping thoughts that I couldn't get to stop.
Right. Yeah.
Okay? And they would show up at insane times.
Right.
Okay? You aren't crazy, but you got to go sit with a medical professional. And here's what they will probably do for you. If you've listened to the show for any time, you know I want to solve these problems. Initially, I want to solve them with exercise and with diet and with relationships. That's my bent on everything. And for me, I let them run for so long that my alarm systems were just bonkers. And I got a low-level SSRI that turned the alarms way down. The looping thoughts still happened, but they were way, way quieter. And what they allowed me to do was to sit with a counselor, sit with a couple of close mentors that I trusted, and begin to challenge the thoughts. And I got stronger and stronger and stronger. And right now, for years, Hannah, I can tell you, I'm good. I cannot describe to you the peace on the other side of what you experience.
Right. Yeah.
Do you believe me?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And the reason for that is because I still go through bouts of OCD here and there. It doesn't always go away. But in high school, actually, my senior year was the worst. It was, I went completely numb. Yeah. My body just shut down because of how distressing the thoughts were.
Yes, but listen to me.
I didn't know what it was.
Listen, they'll circle back.
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to consider for the first time choosing healing and over choosing survival. Because it sounds like you're married to a safe guy, good guy.
Oh, yeah. He's very, very safe.
Okay. So you've unanchored from the nonsense at home. Let your mom watch what your mom's going to watch. She's 55 years old. She can make whatever choices she wants to, however destructive they are. You don't have to participate in that. Or let me say it another way. You can't impact her behavior one iota. So every second you spend thinking about it, ruminating on it, challenging it, wondering what you can do, is a choice to be miserable in the present.
Right.
And people who have OCD, who have anxiety disorders, get mad at me when I say that because it makes it sound like they're making a choice. And in a weird way, we all are.
Right. Yeah.
And the choice I want to present to you is choose about 1.5 years of hard work.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're gonna have to teach your body that you weren't okay and now you are safe.
Right. And I think too, like if, because I have been thinking about therapy for a long time, I would really want to dive in with a therapist too about my family life. I have never talked to a therapist really in depth about how I grew up and stuff like that.
Will you make the call today?
Yeah, I think I will.
I'm not going to force you, but listen, I hear it on you, and I hear myself in your voice.
Mm-hmm.
And I cannot tell you how light and free it is on the other side.
Right.
And it sounds insane to you because all your body can think is, how do I stay safe?
Right.
And I want to tell you, man, going from playing defense your whole life to suddenly playing offense is such a major gift.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. And you'll find it financially, you'll find it relationally, you'll find it in your marriage, you'll find it when you start having kids, you'll find it everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, when you have your first kid, you're going to have different alarms ringing.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
And the first time you find something weird on your husband's phone, your alarms are going to take off on you. You know what I'm saying? And so what a therapist is going to give you, what a physician's going to give you. And by the way, I was medicated for a season.
Okay.
So that I could go do the work. I haven't taken anxiety meds in years and years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
Okay. And even if I had to, that's not a bad thing.
Right. Yeah.
But they did turn the alarms down so that I could go do the necessary work. And Hannah, it sucked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I've never been on medication before. When I was young, I went to the hospital for having an anxiety attack, and then they just gave me like these pills, and then my mom wouldn't let me take them. So
good. So listen, I want you to look in the mirror and say to yourself out loud, Hannah's worth being well.
Yeah.
Okay. And well for you is going to feel like you're free, finally.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have to find some distance between your mom and your dad. And that sounds scary right now, even though your body knows they're not safe. It's just going to take a process. I just want you to trust the process. So make a call today. You're worth that. Your husband's worth that, quite frankly. Your future kids are worth that. You're just overall joy and peace. You haven't had peace in your whole life, so you don't even know what it feels like. There's just something magic about drinking coffee because you want to, not because you have to. There's something magic about just falling asleep in your own bed just because you're tired. There's something amazing about checking the locks the third and the fourth time and then just being like, I'm going to bed. It's hard to even wrap your head around. Or not having an intrusive thought for years and years and years and years and years and years. Healing is possible. Hang on the line. I'm going to send you a copy of Building a Non-Anxious Life. For you, I'm going to send you 2 of them, one for you and one for your husband. I want y'all to read them together, okay? I want you to both read them, and I want you to use it as a roadmap for your family, this new family you're building, because you don't have a map right now. All you have is what you've experienced growing up. You're still really young. I want y'all to use this as a map, the choices that you can make to begin to build a non-anxious and not a non-spun up, a peaceful life. Okay? Hang on the line, sister, and gotcha. Call anytime. But here's my call to you and everyone else struggling right now. Make the call. Make the call. Call a professional.